Hello my friends, Asoka the Geek here, and for this review we are going to take a look at the newest wave of McFarlane Toys DC Direct, McFarlane Toys digital wave of action figures. So what we have here is Monarch, Batgirl Stephanie Brown specifically, Nightwing based on his first appearance, or as we more affectionately call him, Disco Nightwing. And of course, No Man's Land Batman. So, yeah, very excited for this wave. I mean, this really could be a complete Bat family wave, if not for the inclusion of Monarch. And let me tell you, I am so excited to have a Monarch action figure. I'm a 90s comic book fanatic. That's what brought me into comics, the 90s. Not Zero Hour, what am I thinking about? Armageddon 2001. That featured Wave Rider, that whole classic storyline, trying to figure out who Monarch was during that series. This is a big deal for me having this figure. And from the looks of it, I feel like they nailed this. But excited to have Monarch. Look at that artwork on the back. And of course, Disco Nightwing, Stephanie Brown. So a really fun, solid wave figures from McFarlane Toys. And it's been a while since I've gotten a full wave like this. I thought, what the heck? Let's just do a review with all 4 figures. I picked up my set from the McFarlane Toys online store. So let me show you the barcodes in case you need that. So if you ordered from the McFarlane Toys online store, you should be receiving your shipment hopefully soon. I think these are also showing up in stores as well. These aren't Go Label exclusives or anything of that nature, so hopefully they will be plentiful and easy to find. But anyways, with getting all that out of the way, let's get these figures out of the packaging and let's take a closer look. Alright, so here are all the figures outside of the packaging. As you can see, they all come with fun trading cards as always. There's Nightwing, there's Batman. They also come with the digital collectible trading card. You scratch that off and you'll get a code to download the digital version of the figure. There's Monarch there. And then there is Stephanie Brown as Batgirl. A very Batgirl / spoilerish costume. So there you go. Then as far as accessories goes, Nightwing comes with the Batarang that he's holding. Batman comes with an extra set of hands and a Batarang. Monarch, nothing really. And then Stephanie Brown with the grapple gun and a Batarang. But let's get into it. Let's take a closer look at each one of these figures. So first of all, Disco Nightwing. I almost passed on this because I do have the DC Direct version, which I adore. But, here I am. I ended up getting it anyways, and I'm sure glad I did because, man, they did a fantastic job with this figure. I love that head sculpt. It really captures the era. I love the comic book cell shading on the mask there, the blue in the hair. I just dig it. I really love that head sculpt. The suit, man, classic Nightwing here. The 90s look. Man, I think we've almost gotten all versions of the Nightwing costume from McFarlane, or pretty close to it. I'll have to take a look. But yeah, this looks great. I think it uses the same body buck as the Nightfall Nightwing pretty much. But yeah, I think it looks awesome. Good range of motion here. You can make some nice fun acrobatic poses. I like the little batarang that even has a little hole to put the bat rope through. But great looking figure. Really dig this version of Nightwing. Glad I picked it up and double dipped. Now I have 2 Disco Nightwings, and I will do. I have to dig that one up. Actually, I think it's in storage right now, but I will do a comparison with the DC Direct version at some point. But this one definitely has better articulation, bigger figure, and it looks awesome. So there is Disco Nightwing. All right, next up, Stephanie Brown, and this one actually surprised me. I wasn't that excited for this. But then I got her and I realized the hood comes down. I'm sure they already show that at some point, but I didn't really remember. So you can actually keep it with the hood down or the hood up. And it's a wired hooded cape, which is great. And I really love the face sculpt and the way they did the hair and whatnot underneath the hood, the mask. If that came off, that would be amazing, but it's molded on there. And I like this version of Stephanie Brown, the suit anyways. It's a cross between Batgirl and Spoiler, her first superhero alias, and I think that looks pretty good. I think this is using the original Barbara Gordon Batgirl base from that very first iteration of Batgirl from McFarlane. She'll probably be a little bit tall, but man, she looks really good. Oh, look, the ponytail comes off. It doesn't break off. It's actually a little peg there for the ponytail. So there you go. Again, good range of motion here. Yeah, you make some fun Stephanie Brown poses. Love the wired cape, of course. But yeah, she looks really good. Very snazzy. All right. Next up, Nightfall Batman. Not Nightfall Batman. No Man's Land Batman. Did I say Nightfall Batman at the beginning of the video? I don't remember now. But yeah, this is No Man's Land Batman. And I saw some comments saying like, hey, shouldn't this be a black suit? I do believe he starts off like this and later dons the black suit, maybe? He must, because there's another version. The platinum of this is all black. But anyways, back to this figure. I really like it. The head sculpt looks really nice. The bat emblem looks good. The big pouchy belt. The only thing is, I wonder if this belt should have been more brown than yellow. I'll have to go dig up the Nightfall comic. But yeah, still a solid looking blue and gray Batman. Mine does not have a wire in the cape. I don't know if this is another instance of them not putting the wire in the cape. They spoil us with the wire in the cape, and now it seems to be missing from some figures. So I don't know if that's just a cost-saving measure or whatnot, or I don't know. Maybe the other Batmans do have the wire and it's just mine, but yeah, no wire in the cape. But I like the head sculpt quite a bit. I love the cowl, the neck with the way the cape comes out of it. The gray and the blue look really good. Yeah, solid Batman figure all around. Here's a look at the articulation a little bit there. You can make some fun Batman poses with him. Yeah, good looking Batman figure. There you go. I probably won't try to track down the black version just because we're getting another black version of Batman coming out very soon. So I don't really need two. But who knows? Maybe I'll still get the black version. All right, anyways, then on to the main event, the figure that I was most excited for in this wave. There he is, Monarch. Again, from the Armageddon 2001 storyline. Man, it just looks, I hate to use the word perfect, but this looks like Monarch. This looks like the Monarch I remember from the comic. Even the size of him looks correct. He was never that huge, and I think they nailed him. The suit looks really nice. They even added some texture, some paint coloring to the grays. But I think this is just a beautiful, solid-looking Monarch figure. I think they did a great job on it. Articulation is a little hampered by the shoulders there. The head doesn't move up or down either. But still, man, this is a fantastic Monarch. Again, never thought I would see the day when we get a Monarch action figure. And I'm so glad we got this. Again, all about nostalgia. I love the 90s, so there you go. There is Monarch. All right, let's do a few comparisons. All right, so there's the new Nightwing in the middle next to, this is the Batman Family 5-pack from Amazon. And then we have the Titans Nightwing on the right there. I would love if they redid all of these Nightwings using this body buck just to keep it consistent. I love it when they use the same body and have different variations of the costume just for consistency. As you can see, these are all different bodies and parts and whatnot, so they don't really scale well together if you're just putting together Nightwing shelf. But yeah, I do prefer it when you use the same body if you can. That way it just looks better on the shelf. And but yeah, I will do another comparison with the Nightfall Nightwing at some point when I dig that one up. But there you go, just give you an idea of how he scales with a couple of other Nightwing figures. And let's take a look at Batman next. All right, so in the middle we have No Man's Land Batman, we have Hush Batman, and Year One Batman, all on different bodies, all out of whack as far as a scale goes. I love all of these different Batmans, but yeah, they all are kind of wonky with the size. Hush Batman is still my favorite Batman. McFarlane has done that body, and specifically this version or the blue and gray one. But the Nightfall body I really like as well, except it's on the smaller side and doesn't really scale well with other characters. And then of course you have the Rebirth Batman body, which this year one Batman's using, which really doesn't scale well with other figures. It's even smaller than the Rebirth Batman. Anyways, enough of my rambling. There you go. There's a look at No Man's Land Batman next to the other two Batmans. My camera's really shaking. Sorry about that. All right, let's take a look at Stephanie Brown and see how she scales next to a few other figures. All right, so there's Stephanie Brown next to Batgirl, the original one from McFarlane Toys. And she does look a little shorter, but I think it might just be the way I'm... she might be a little bit shorter than... Yeah, I think she is. She is shorter than Barbara there. So there's that. And she looks pretty good next to No Man's Land Batman there. And then let's throw in Hush Batman for good measure. Yeah, she looks great next to Hush Batman. Hush Batman is so big. There you go. All right, last but not least, let's take a look at Monarch next to a few other figures. All right, and there is Wave Rider next to Monarch and Batman. Man, I love this Wave Rider figure just because it is a Wave Rider figure. But, you know, this is the newer version of Wave Rider. Would love a traditional Wave Rider to also go along with this very traditional looking Monarch. So, would love to see that, McFarlane Toys, if you guys are listening. But there you go. So there's Monarch next to Wave Riders. But so grateful that we got an official Wave Rider. This Monarch figure is fantastic. Just looks great. It's Monarch, right? Ripped from the pages of the comics. I haven't read it in a while, so maybe there are some differences. Maybe I should have looked at it before I started doing this video, but that's okay. It's okay. He still looks great to me. So there you go. Just love the vibe here of Monarch. Well, that's about it, my friends. Thank you so much for watching. I'll definitely do some additional content with some different comparisons and whatnot in the next week or so. But thank you for watching this video. I just noticed that the paint on the front is not on the back. So just thought I'd point that out. But still looks great. There's your look at the latest wave from McFarlane Toys. Thanks for watching. Oh, by the way, a few folks have asked me in the comments how come we haven't done a DC Infinite Hour show lately. Man, it's just scheduling, my friends. I was on vacation for a bit. Now Rob's on vacation. Brad was had a few things come up, and yeah, we just have not been able to get our schedules to align. So we'll probably do a show sometime next week if everything goes according to plan. So that's the only reason. We really wanted to do a show, but it's just if the three of us can't do it together, then you know we just don't do it. So we will definitely do a show in the next few weeks and hopefully get back on a normal schedule as July comes to end. But appreciate those asking about that. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for your time and have a great day.